Hello everyone, this is the Twin Flame Twin Within Energy Report for June 24th through June 30th. Now I know that this is actually June 26th, so it's 2 days late. It's Tuesday. The funny thing is I actually pulled the cards on Sunday, and then I just really got to a point where I was sitting with the cards and there was something eating at me, the reading just wouldn't come. The channeling just wouldn't come. And I tried yesterday and I couldn't do it yesterday. And then finally today, when I was working through some other stuff, it occurred to me why the reading wouldn't come. Well, the reason is because of the cards I actually pulled. So for the feminine energy, I pulled Judgment in reverse. And for the masculine energy, I pulled the Page of Cups in reverse. So these two cards are very much about, well, I'll just get into it and explain. You'll see why. So for the feminine energy, we have Judgment in reverse. Now basically Judgment, the Judgment card is a major arcana card, and it's all about evaluating and assessing. You know, a lot of people, Judgment is one of those terms that is very emotionally loaded. It's a very emotionally laden term. So when we're getting judged, usually it is considered some kind of moral assessment of us. Either a moral assessment or, you know, are we capable? Are we worthy? All of those kinds of things, where you're being deemed worthy or unworthy, you're being judged to be moral or immoral or acceptable or unacceptable. And so, you know, as far as from the one person to another aspect of that word judgment, it can be, you know, it can be very, what's the word? You can take it really personally, right? It's very emotional. It's, you know, it's almost like an attack on you, like a personal attack. Don't judge me. We say that all the time. But there's another side of judgment, and it's really kind of the non-personal aspect of judgment, and it's evaluating and assessing. So when we evaluate, when we assess, it's not really a personal. It's not meant to be to say anything about you personally. It's just saying, you know, like I'm evaluating to see if it's a good fit. I'm assessing to see if this is working correctly. And we tend to use that form of judgment when we're talking about inanimate objects. It's just a really impersonal thing. Like I'm evaluating to see if this window fits the window frame. There's nothing personal. It's just the facts. It's just kind of like, is this working or not working? Very non-personal. No emotions attached to it. No personal judgments. And so I think more and more we should take the judgment card to really be the assessment card, the evaluation card, instead of judgment. And try and use that in every aspect of our lives. Because I think that, first of all, there is no objective truth. You know, when we use the judgment card, when it's very, you know, emotionally evocative, I think it's emotionally evocative because there's this idea inside all of us of, you know, we're suddenly being judged against this universal truth. And if we come up lacking, then we feel bad about ourselves. And that's not the case. There just almost never is a universal truth to anything. It really is, everything is very subjective. and subjective in the terms of, is this working for me or not working for me? Do I like this or not like this? It's kind of like one person likes strawberry ice cream, the other person likes chocolate ice cream. It's not about right or wrong. It's not about moral or immoral. It's not about, are you good enough or not good enough? It's just literally, do you fit this or not that? It's really just more of an assessment or an evaluation. There is no one size fits all objective truth to anything that we really care about in life. And so I don't think we need to fear the judgment card. And certainly what the judgment card in reverse is telling me is that the feminine energies are struggling with this idea, not only of being judged, of being seen and being judged, but also judging other people and judging other situations in their lives where, we all need to be able to take a good look at things in our lives and say, is this working? Does this fit me? Does this suit me? Is it working for me? Is this a good exchange of energy? Is this a good use of my time? And there's no right or wrong about it. It's just, is it effective? Does it fit me? Is it useful? Does it align with my goals in life? Again, no good or bad, right or wrong. It's just, how are things fitting together? And I think that's okay if other people look at us and they say, no, not for me. It's okay. It's not, it's nothing bad about you. And honestly, I think if we take it in the strain of, it's nothing personal, this just isn't a good fit. It not only helps that person who's judging us, but it helps us because we will move on from that situation that's not working and move into a situation that is working better for everyone. Not only that person who's judging us, but the people who are being judged, who can then move on to a situation where there is a better fit. It is working better, So judgment in reverse. Let's not be afraid of that. Let's call this evaluation or assessment or whatever else, right? Good, how's it fitting? How's it working out? And get over the idea that this is somehow, some kind of personal comment on our worthiness, and it's not. It's not. So let's not be afraid of judgment, either judging ourselves, judging other people, judging situations. It's okay. It's just everybody trying to get to the situation that works best for them. And you can't do that unless you judge and evaluate. So, yeah, let's go ahead and turn the judgment right side up and be okay with that. All right, so that's the feminine energy for this week. The masculine energy is the Page of Cups in reverse. So this goes right along with the whole judgment. Page of Cups in reverse, it's the, putting yourself out there and being vulnerable with your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. Not only you're being vulnerable yourself and telling people what you're thinking and feeling, but also in receiving, other people's thoughts and feelings. So again, it's not personal. It's just what's going on, what's working, what am I thinking, what am I feeling? Feelings, emotions, there's no bad emotion. There is no bad emotion. Emotions are just a form of communication. In fact, it's the form of communication, I believe, in my personal opinion, it's the channel between our mind and our soul. So, we have our body, we have our mind, we have our emotions, and then we have our soul. emotions, that's that really fuzzy link between our analytical mind, our three-dimensional analytical mind, which we have to have this in order to live in a space-time reality. You have to have the analytical mind. A lot of people call it the ego. But you have to have it, right? And there's just not a good, there's no good language between the soul and the mind except for the emotions. It's a very vague language, but it's the best that we can do to get two parts of ourselves that live in completely alien dimensions from each other to communicate. So there are no bad emotions. It's just communication. And, we need to allow ourselves to, again, be vulnerable and open ourselves up to our emotions, other people's emotions, thoughts, feelings, all that kind of good stuff. And be with those and listen to what they're trying to tell us. Listen to what they're trying to say. And when we feel judged, that, it's not personal. It's just communication. It's just another form of communication where we're all trying to figure out the best fit. And when we do that, it's going to improve our lives. Undeniably. So there's nothing to fear about being vulnerable, and there's nothing to fear about being judged or assessed, right? This is just two forms of communication that if we take them as opportunities to find out what, in our environment is going to help us be on our path and live the life that we want to live, then there's nothing to fear. So those are the energies for today, for this week. Again, because this is the Twin Within energy report, if you identify as the feminine, then you would want to pay attention to the masculine energies, because that's what you need to work on. And if you identify as the masculine, then you would want to focus on the feminine energies, because that is what you need to work on, right? These are your other side of yourself. My personal belief is that your twin flame is the other aspect of yourself that you need to come into union with. So look at your other energies, work on those, come into union with yourself, and be happy. So the oracle card for this week is make a choice. Make a choice. You got one door or the other, right? Make a choice. And I have not read this one yet, but I think I have a feeling that it's going to fit really well with what the cards that came up. All right, making a choice. You're required to come to a decision now. You're faced with a dilemma or a fork in the road and must make a conscious choice regarding the next right action. Whatever that choice is, you must take responsibility for it. Yet you needn't be afraid. You may not have all the answers right now, because the way ahead can't be known until you've embarked and traveled a few steps. Trust your intuition. Ask for a sign from Spirit, and you will be led to the right path. If you remain conscious and aware, your choice will be the right one at this time. Life is always about learning. Success lies in choosing consciously, guided by intuition and spirit. All right. Thank you, Colette Baron-Reid. Making a choice. And again, I think this card goes great. The message is that in order to make good choices, we have to be willing to be vulnerable and put ourselves out there and do something that we're not sure of as we're moving forward in life. And then we have to be willing to judge, to both to make judgments and to be judged, so that we can ultimately make an informed choice. Right? We try something in life. We don't know what we're doing, but we try something in life, and we put ourselves out there, and we get some results back, and we evaluate those results, or maybe somebody else evaluates our efforts, and from that information, we're able to make a good choice from that. That's pretty much the only way. You can't figure out life in your head. You have to get out there and do things and try things and get that feedback from other people, or give other people your feedback, right? So that's the message for this week. I hope you're all doing well. And and next week, if I'm not struggling with being vulnerable and not being afraid of judgments, then you will see my next video out on Sunday. So have a great week, take care, and I'll see you next week.